Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thanks for stopping by. If you're new here, this video will be about how to read more books topic. If you want to read more books and if you're looking for tips and tricks, I'll share mine. Please continue to watch this video. I'll get started very shortly. I want to share in this video what I did to get more books, to read more books. In the beginning, I was I read the books in school and college and things like that, but it was just books that I have to read just to get, credit and things like that. After that, it was a time when I didn't want to read books. I just want to take a break. I want to watch TV and things like that. But after a couple of years, I decided, hey, I want to go back to books, but I don't want to read books that it's like, student books that I have to read. I want to read a book for myself, like a fiction books or, like psychological books or books about money and things like that. And when I opened my first book after that break, I think it took me like 3-4 months to complete one book, and it was like 200 pages. Then I started making a notes. How many books do I read a year? And at that year, I read, for the entire year, I read 3 books, which is, it wasn't that thick books. It was about like 250, maybe max 300 pages each. And I was like, oh, how do I read more books? So then I set myself a goal for next year that I need to read at least one book a month. It doesn't have to be very, very thick book, like 1,000 pages long, but around 200 pages. That's like an average fiction book. So I set myself a goal. That's my first tip. So if you're trying to get into that rhythm of start reading more books, so set yourself a goal. It doesn't have to be one book a month. It can be 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes a month. Like mine was one book a month, one book in 2 months, 10 books, 10 books a year. That's my current goal. Not a goal, but that's what I'm trying. That's what I usually. That's like my minimum goal. 10 books a year. So it's like around one book a month, and it's and sometimes it's 400 pages, sometimes it's 100 pages, sometimes it's 500 pages. But just decide for yourself how many time and how many books. How many times do you want to spend reading it? How many books do you want to read? So my goal right now is a minimum one book a month, but the more I'm trying to increase like the volume I'm reading, so like a more thicker book, more like a 500-page book, and it's right now it's like my hobby, so it's not like my main thing, but it's nice, and it's kind of gives me all this perspective and things to talk about. So first thing, set yourself a goal. Can be anything. The next thing, what I did, so let's go back to my original goal, and I said, okay, I want to read at least one book a month, and then I try to think, okay, so I need to find time where I can squeeze that. So, like let's say if it's 200-page book, so I have to complete it by months. In months it's usually 30 days. So I went and I did the calculation. So I have to read 200 divided by 30, at least 6 pages a day. So 6 pages a day, that's, I don't know, I'll just make it up, 20 minutes. 20 minutes per day I have to find. 20 minutes every day I have to find, so I can complete my goal of reading one book a month. And then I look at my schedule. I do keep planning, so like a planning book. And I usually write down like what I need to get done like every week. So I was like, okay, so maybe I have time before bed, so I can complete it. I spend 20 minutes laying in bed and reading a book. So I tried that. It worked, but then I think it worked in winter time, but in summertime it kind of didn't work. So I was like, okay, let me reset, and I'll do in the morning. So when I wake up, before getting up and do all these things that I have to accomplish, I'll spend time in bed and reading the first 6 pages, things like that. So my next tip will be find time where you can complete. Maybe you using public transportation, so it will be good time to read there, while you're in a bus. Maybe you're traveling a lot, and maybe you can do the same thing at the airport, or while you're waiting for your kids' school to be over. Things like that. Just try to find time to get your goal complete. And with that, so try to keep you try to have the book with you. So for me, it was easy because my goal was to read like before bed and before I get up. So I always kept my book, next to the bed, so like on a bed table. But if you're traveling, if you're traveling by car and you like waiting for your kids to get like soccer practice done or other practices done, keep your book at either in your purse or at your car, or if you're traveling, just put the book, try to keep the book with you at all times, so when you have that little time, free time that you can get your reading done, it will be, you don't have to like, oh, I wish I have the book with me. So try to keep that book with you at all times. The other thing, which I didn't do, but you can, is join book club. Right now there's a various book clubs that you can join, and it's actually a good, like if you type of person that, hey, I need somebody to tell me like, hey, this is your deadline, you have to, like, we are reading this book on every last Thursday of the month, so you have that, hey, I need to read this book so I can talk in my book club. Perfect timing. Actually, I did join on Instagram. There was a couple of online book clubs that I joined, and it helped me with choosing a book, because when I started I was like, what should I read, what people reading this year. I had no idea what's popular, what's not popular. So that's when I joined the book club online, at least it kind of gave me, oh, this is a book of the month, you should read it. And I started that way, and I was like, oh, I like this author, or I don't really like this author. So it kind of gives you that choice of, hey, it will give you a start to, like, if you have no idea what people reading these days. So join book clubs. It's another tip, will help you kind of give you that deadline schedule, and like in my case, it helped me to start reading because I had no idea what to pick as my first book. And kind of going back to like when I first started, I basically more relied on the book clubs, and I picked, so I read few books, and then I was like, I enjoyed this book, but I don't really like that book. And so the tip will be, don't try to finish the book, even though it's kind of like, it kind of gives you that you have to finish the book, but just try to pick, like next time when you get into like more reading, try to pick, it has to be enjoyable. So it's kind of like your hobby, you want to enjoy. Don't pick the book that because everybody's reading and you try to read and you don't really like it, but because everybody reading, you have to finish it. Just pick, once you get mature and you read more and more books, pick what you enjoy versus what's everybody's reading and what's like I don't like, but I feel like I need to get us read because everybody's reading it and everybody's liking it. So pick what you enjoy. That will be my tip. And if you like fiction, go ahead with fiction. If you don't like fiction and you just want to get autobiography, for example, go ahead. It's your hobby. It's, the book has to be enjoyable. So the other tip will be, if you, let's say, at the moment you don't have time, even 10-20 minutes, you don't have time to sit down and read a book, there's alternatives. You can do audiobooks, and you can do audiobooks while if you clean your house, if you do exercising, if you're jogging, if you're on a bike, if you if you driving a bus, if you going to work, audiobooks is a way to go. And it's okay if at this moment of life you don't have time to read read a book, so you can listen to a book. That's what I do times to times. I just, like, if I need to do cleaning, if I need to go to work, or I need to go somewhere where it's like a traveling, I just use audiobook, and I count this as my book as well. I just put on a note that is audiobook, but it still counts because it's, you have to listen and you have to pay attention. So it's also requires your time. So again, as an alternative, try to do audiobooks if at this moment in time you can't, or you don't have access to books. Hopefully these tips will help you to start reading more books, enjoy them, and join book clubs. And let me know in the comments below if you have your own tips, how you started reading more books, or maybe your friend shared with you. Leave comment below for those who will watch this video, and I will be interested to read them as well, because I share my tips, but I always open for more tips. And again, leave them in comments below, and if you have any questions, also leave them there, leave them in the comments. And thanks for watching this video. Give it a like if you like this video, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.